County until 9 p.m. Also, we're monitoring areas to the north. Tornado warning in Schuylkill County was allowed to expire, but there are numerous severe thunderstorm warnings towards our north as well. The main concern, though, remains that tornado warning from West Earl right now to Upper Laycock and over to Terry Hill, moving very, very slowly at a very leisurely pace at about 15 to 20 miles per hour. All right, so situation update here once again from the National Weather Service for this particular storm. It's been a less than very active day across south central Pennsylvania. We've had numerous thunderstorms in the last couple of hours that went over Harrisburg, over Dauphin County, over Lebanon County, and now into Lancaster County. We've had some rotation reported so far this afternoon, but nothing really quite to the level of this potential tornadic circulation that is currently approaching West Earl and heading into Upper Laycock. Heavy rain with this, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning with this as well. Control room, if we can see the potential for any, if we can try and queue up any PennDOT cams that might be along Route 222 or along Route 30 was to see if we can find any of that information, any of those traffic cameras, to see if we can bring up that. Let me know if anything does come down. Director, I hear you in my ear there as well. To see if we can see any better areas of those circulation. But still, the tornado warning is in effect from West Earl down to Upper Laycock Township, north of Route 30 over towards Terry Hill. Ephrata, you're getting heavy rain, but the circulation is past. Brecknock, you're in the warning because they've extended it pretty far to the north to cover up towards the turnpike. But I guess that this is, or I would guess rather, or hazard a guess, this is going to pass to the south of you. Our main concern really is for our friends in West Earl and down towards Upper Laycock once again, and then over towards Earl. This should pass to the north of Eden. This should pass to the north of Lancaster. If you're in Paradise Township, heads up, and if you're as far southeast as Gap, heads up. The warning is not extended as far as that, but it's still something that we're going to be watching because should it be extended, it would be headed into your direction. And this is not including downtown Lancaster. If you or your loved ones are in downtown Lancaster, this should pass to their north, but it's still something we're going to be monitoring here as we go throughout the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. Again, this tornado warning does go in effect until 9 o'clock this evening. So where you want to be right now, should you be in the tornado warning, of course, is in the most interior room of your house. Be away from windows. Think of a bathroom. Think of under a staircase. Think of if the basement, if you can be there, to try and just put as many walls, as many things between you and the outside as you can, should this storm be producing a tornado at this time. Currently, the warning or the area of rotation I've been mentioning that I've been following as we zoom back on in here to Lancaster County, my apologies, still is right over West Earl. This storm is moving very, very slowly. It's putting down a ton of rain in a short amount of time because it's moving so slowly. So where you're seeing these reds and oranges along with that potential for the circulation to come on down, you're seeing a lot of rain and a lot of heavy rain come down too. The storm does have some indications here that it's weakening just a little bit. You can see some of those reds breaking up and allowing some of those more oranges and yellows to come on in. That means lighter rainfall in that particular area, but we are still monitoring the potential for this storm to try and cycle, to try and bring down some sort of rotation here that we're watching. Again, it's very difficult to pinpoint where this potential circulation is. The National Weather Service originally reported it back towards Rothsville, which is Highway 772, State Highway 772 southwest of Akron. Now it looks like the best chance of a circulation here is going to be along North Farmersville Road down towards 772 south of 222 here, right over West Earl is the best location, most likely location, I should say, for that rotation to be impacting or trying to produce a tornado right where you see this green and the red shaded areas meeting. That's the most likely location for a brief spin-up tornado occurring along along Farmersville Road. Here's North Farmersville Road, South Farmersville Road, back towards Highway 772, southeast of Highway 222. So bottom line, basically West Earl. Now this is moving, as I mentioned, to the southeast at 15 miles per hour. So I'll make a most recent little track there, guesstimation here of where the circulation is. Maintain its southeasterly path. Vogansville here in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then eventually Groffdale by about 8:53. This warning only goes till Groffdale and Upper Lake Hawk Township now. Heads up Upper Lake Hawk Township and Mascot over to Groffdale. This is getting pretty close to you all. You guys down here will be experiencing some heavy rain in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Some gusty winds along the leading edge of this storm. Where you're seeing that gray and white come up is the potential for some small hail there. I'm going to grab that off of it though, if I can. Let's see here. There we go. Grab that off of there if we can. That is the heaviest rain that is coming down, and the potential for some small hail there too. Hinkletown, you're getting some heavy rainfall up towards Hahnstown Road, right along, right at the interchange of 322, 222. But the rotation's down here. It's down towards Upper Lake Hawk Township and West Earl. So if you're in Upper Lake Hawk Township, Morgan Drive here, Horseshoe Road down there to the south, be in your tornado safe spot at this time. And then heads up eventually New Holland Road there southeast of Earl. That's where that potential, that warning is headed. Eventually down here along the Lincoln Highway and Route 30, we're going to be heading towards Bird in Hand and of course Paradise Township there as well. So be thinking about where you should be headed there should the warning be extended. But essentially the rotation is following a path from 322 down to the south here towards Weavertown. It's basically straddling these two highways here, this road and this highway here, from West Earl down to Weavertown, Earl eventually down towards South Armitage. So that is the overall storm path that is going right now. Landis Valley, you're in the clear. Ephrata, you're in the clear, of course. East Lampeter Township, that is barely going to miss you. Downtown Lancaster, likely won't even see any very heavy rainfall out of this, even though it's passing so close to the north. So a close call for Lancaster there. As we continue to track this storm to the south. All right, the rotation certainly does look like it's weakening, however, even though this warning goes until 9 o'clock this evening. We're past sunset. We're losing our energy here. We're raining ourselves out. There's just some lightning here and some winds gusting to about 30 miles per hour. But otherwise, it does look like this is starting to weaken as it continues to push further and further to the southeast. But nonetheless, tornado warning until 9 o'clock for Lancaster County. Now, should a tornado be on the ground, of course, don't forget you don't want to be in a mobile home right now. You don't want to be in your vehicle right now, and you want to be as far away from windows as you can. So, as I've said already, that is the most interior room of your house or structure that you can find, under a staircase, bathtub, or of course in a basement or cellar, should you have one. Earl, Upper Lake Hawk, still watching this potential tornado warning, this potential tornadic circulation being down towards your area. This is heading into a very poor radar coverage area for the latest here. Heads up, Leola right now, zooming in here on the map. That circulation with the latest scan is headed right for folks down towards Leola and Bearville. South of Akron, back towards Leola. Let's see here. Let's get my bearings here for me. Here we are. Latest velocity scans still look like down there towards, as I mentioned, east of or west of Earl, in between, ironically enough, West Earl and East Earl. Where you're seeing the reds and the greens meet, as I mentioned, that is most likely the highest likelihood, rather, of where that tornado is, heading towards maybe just skirting on the northern sides of Upper Laycock Township. But here's Highway 23. That's right there into Upper Laycock. And then back over here, here's Highway 322 for this storm that is continuing to push to the south and the east. But the best area of location of rotation rather, looks to be right over Bearville and Leola. So that's right here. That's about right here. That scan continues to kind of process and go on through. So these are the things that we're watching. The environment today, as I mentioned, has been very favorable for any spin in the atmosphere should storms find their energy and get going. We've been limited by our showers and thunderstorms earlier on this afternoon and this morning, luckily for a good majority of the area. However, this storm, of course, maintaining its strength enough to get into the higher upper levels of the atmosphere to start to turn a little bit, and so that has been the reason for this tornado warning. Where you want to watch for the rotation is closer to the southern end of the storm, though, so that's going to be heading right towards Upper Laycock Township, as I mentioned, and eventually over just to the north of Paradise Township, north of Highway 340, and west of 897 as this continues to track on through. If the rotation is producing anything, it is going to be right over Bearville and right over Bearville here. It is going to be just now passing to the southeast of West Earl, heading towards Bearville. Leola's in here, and then over towards Groffdale. So heads up, that is the most likely location for this rotation coming on down, right down South Farmersville Road, down to Bearville. This is Highway 23. Right here, Bearville, Leola, over towards Groffdale, Upper Laycock in the very farthest southern portion of the map. There we go. That's what I'm looking for here. No rotation that I am finding. Terry Hill, Weaverland, and south of North Railroad Avenue, south of Earl. Tornado warning still Terry Hill. Tornado warning still Weaverland. Tornado warning still Hinkletown, Hahnstown. But I'm not finding a circulation there. The only area of concern that I'm currently finding is over Leola. And that is still about to leave the tornado warn box here at this time and eventually head further to the south and the east. Across the rest of the area, not a whole lot going on. We're still just tracking this one particular tornado warn storm northeast of Lancaster, basically following Highway 322 here, moving to the east. But this storm does have a history of producing small hail, only up to the size of about peas or so, and about 40-mile-an-hour winds. It's just been the latest potential spin up. That has been indicated here from the National Weather Service and attempted to be indicated here on our latest map screens to see where this rotation is occurring. So if you're in Groffdale right now, take your tornado precautions. Earl, Upper Laycock, Leola, Morgan Drive, Brimmer Avenue, all the way back here towards Highway 322, back up towards Hinkletown. But Groffdale, this potential circulation is right here on your doorstep. So take your tornado precautions, of course, at this time, and that tornado warning does go until 9 o'clock. The good news is it does look like it's weakening. The rotation wasn't terribly strong to begin with, but this is also, as I mentioned, a particularly radar poor area where the radar beam itself tends to overshoot the storms that are coming on through. The further southeastern in York County you go, and the further southeast in Lancaster County that you go. So we're working with what we got. Heads up New Holland, heads up Bird in Hand. Even though you are outside of the warned area, should this particular warning or should this particular storm leave the warned area, but the warning still be in effect, we'll still be watching for that very, very closely coming on in. So tornado warning remains in effect until 9 p.m. for this particular section of the line. The actual location of the rotation is down here south of Earl, now just narrowly passing Upper Laycock Township, but Highway 23 is right now likely seeing that rotation come on through southeast now of Leola. If you have, of course, friends or family down here, in this location. Make sure that they are taking the tornado precautions at this time. Innermost room of your house, basement, cellar, away from windows, not in a car, not in a mobile home, anything like that. As this rotation rather makes its way on through. Latest velocity scan here, not a lot of help. Storm relative, not a lot of help. This is going to be headed eventually towards Gap if this storm tries to stay on through. It should pass to the north of Strasburg, but it will be passing very close to Paradise Township, very close to Bird in Hand, but is missing, of course, downtown Lancaster. Director, one more time, graphics full here. I'm going to stay back there behind Max 1 for a little bit as we get more information from this tornado warning coming on through. But again, this is still moving to the southeast at a fairly slow clip, about 15 to 20 miles per hour. And it has the history of being radar indicated, rather. It has the potential of a radar indicated tornado that has come on through in eastern Lancaster County. This also has had a history, as I mentioned, of some small hail. The storm is heading heading to the southeast. Other locations include the Lancaster Airport. Well, this passed that a little bit ago, but this storm is still a feisty one. This storm is still a tornado-warned storm, and we will continue to monitor it here for the next 9 minutes for as long as the tornado warning is in effect. No other storms that I'm particularly watching across our area as of this evening. This is the last breath of our severe weather tonight, and it's continuing to now migrate out of the warned area just to the north of Highway 772. And to the west of Carnarvon, Narvin, and South Hermitage, all to the west of those particular areas here, but it is along New Holland Road and crossing Highway 23. I've been saying Bearville, Leola, and Groffdale for so long because that is just where the closest center of rotation has looked, but heads up New Holland right now, and heads up just areas to their south and east. Strasburg, you want to be looking at this. Paradise Township, you want to be looking at this. Gap, you want to be looking at this, because if this warning is extended, that's where it is headed next. Rossville is well in the clear. West Earl, you're getting some heavy rain. You're in the clear. Akron, Ephrata, Brownsville, Red Run, heavy rain, but that's it. Martindale, heavy rain, but that's it. Vogansville rather, is getting some very heavy rainfall, but no tornado concern there as of this time. Checking our latest potential hail, not a lot in this. It is just the potential circulation. You see all the way back here up towards Manheim Township, it has had the history of producing some smaller hail in northwest of Ephrata, so it's all really just been about the rotation as it's come on through. Shear rate down here still hard to see, so it's not really popping up here on a potential shear rate or anything else. If there is a likelihood again of this coming on through, it's between Upper Laycock Township over to Bearville, and then heading towards Mascot and following Route 772. So tornado warning remains in effect for Lancaster County, 9 o'clock. Moving to the southeast at 15 miles per hour. Maximum hail size reported in this particular storm has only been up to about the size of peas and pennies, but that is, we're not seeing a ton of indications, rather, of that at this time. This storm basically, as it continues to track to the southeast, not only is it heading to an area that's more radar poor, but also it is just simply becoming a bit more linear, becoming a bit less conducive to rotating as it's pushed further and further east into Lancaster County. We got 6 more minutes here of the warning, though. Again, the National Weather Service issued it at 8:24, and it goes until 9 o'clock here this evening for Lancaster County. Numerous thunderstorms as we've gone throughout the last couple of hours here, all the way back over towards Harrisburg. There's some very heavy rain that has come on down there, some very gusty winds back towards there as well as this came on through, but no tornado warning until this one issued for Lancaster County here within the last half hour. Pardon me. Still watching, of course, this push to the southeast. Rest of the area looking good, looking dry. Just this red box, this red polygon here from Warwick clear, Eden clear, East Lampeter Township clear, Upper Laycock good to go, West Earl clear, but it is all about areas south and the east of Groffdale. Looks like the area of rotation, if there's any left at all, is certainly beyond the warning box. It is going to be heading towards just north of Paradise Township, eventually towards Intercourse, and eventually towards Bird in Hand, which are further down here to the southeast. That is the best chance of area of rotation is about 3 to 4 miles north of Paradise Township. And heading, we're basically going to follow New Holland Road down to Highway 340. So that eventually would have it closer down just to the east of Strasburg and along and close to Paradise Township here in the next 10 minutes or so. This entire storm is pretty feisty too. Let's get a storm track on the entire thing. The warning, remind you, is on the southeastern side of it. So closer to the bottom of your screen. So East Earl heading towards your area here in the next 5 minutes, but the tornado warned or tornado concerned area should pass to your south. Carnarvon expects some very heavy rainfall and some gusty winds in the next 10 minutes by about 9:06, and then eventually Honeybrook by 9:21. This storm again moving very slowly to the southeast, east-southeast, at about 15 miles per hour as it continues to push to the east further and further into Lancaster County. If there is a rotation that is on the ground or close to it right now, it is going to be headed towards New Holland Road. Highway 772 where it intersects with 340 right here, north of New Milltown. There's Paradise Township down here. That is out of the warning area, but the rotation is just sitting to the north, close to Intercourse, and is passing south to the southeast of Mascot. But you see this storm is still nothing to be messed with as it approaches East Earl, Carnarvon, eventually Gap, Kirkwood, and Carnarvon. This is still going to be a storm that, even if the warning is not extended, it will pack quite the punch in terms of some heavy rain and potentially some gusty winds up to about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So again, tornado warning does remain in effect until 9 o'clock. This is 8:58 as of this time. The area of rotation that I am particularly concerned about, which is on the southern end of this storm, is now leaving the tornado warned area and should scoot just to the north of Paradise Township. Paradise all the way down here, but should scoot just to the north of Paradise Township in the next few seconds, or next few minutes rather, as this storm continues to push on through. Winds gusting over 40, heavy rain coming on down, of course, here too for folks in Lancaster County, and this storm is still something that is not to be messed with, and we're watching this very, very closely as it continues to push on further into the eastern half of Lancaster County. Anywhere behind the storm, to the west of the storm, Upper Laycock Township to Nestville to Warwick to Clay to Ephrata, you're dry or drying and are certainly in the clear from this particular one, and you should be dry for the remainder of the evening tonight. This eventually will head into Chester County once it passes through South Hermitage and Salisbury Heights and Carnarvon and into Honeybrook. But this storm remains tornado warned, though I do not expect the warning to be extended in further southeast. This is north of the Lincoln Highway. This is west of Highway 897 and right along Route 23, State Highway 23. That is where the heaviest rain is falling, 322 of course as well. But the rotation that we are watching is just towards the southern end of this storm right here. It's very hard to see on velocities, but right down there is where I'm watching the rotation potentially for this storm north of Paradise and heading to the southeast here at about 15 miles per hour. All right, control room, get ready to send us back to programming. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire for Lancaster County right here at the top of the 9 o'clock hour. Still heads up Carnarvon down to Buena Vista, eventually down towards Gap as well, as the showers and thunderstorms non-severe, but with a history of rotating, will continue to push to the southeast here as we go throughout the remainder of the next half hour or hour or so by the time we start drying out by the 10 o'clock newscast. More showers and storms will be possible Tuesday and into Wednesday as well. You can expect the latest information on air, online, and coming up tonight on Fox 43 News at 10. Until then, I'll send you right back to your regularly scheduled programming.
In the first game of the Eastern Conference Finals. Watch it live Thursday at 7 on Antenna TV.